very, very excited that we've got a Human Rights Act in Queensland. It's been a long time coming, and given the jurisdiction that this is, it's particularly exciting.
At the start of this journey, I didn't even know what the expectations were. I just knew that there was this legislation that we really had to come on board with.
We're often time poor and it feels like something extra you've got to do. Another thing that you have to add to your staff members, it's actually not, you're actually helping them by giving them tools to help them do their jobs better.
It's actually been a godsend, given them a tool to absolve themselves of some of that responsibility where they're holding themselves absolutely accountable for what happens to the people that are standing in front of them.
Particularly when you're trying to work with tenancy sustainment where someone might have young children in the house and you know that if you fail, that you could actually be having lifelong impacts to that family unit.
Nearly every homeless person that we would encounter is experiencing a violation of one or more of their rights under the Act. We need to make a lot of choices around what is the most just thing to do in an unjust system. Taking
a human rights lens on this is really paramount, making sure that if tenants have health and education connections in their local communities, that we consider that.
What it meant and the changes that had been made, we came to realise that individually as workers and wholly as an organisation, we have actually been working from a person-centred and human rights focus. It's just never had some boundaries or some guidelines around it. There's never been a framework for it.
It lets us hit the pause button and say, well, this is what we can do. And this is what we have done. This is what we should do in this instance.
Reconfirms everything that we're doing to be able to support women and children to have a safe and a good life.
I would love to see our sector have a consistent response or approach to how our staff, our clients and our community understand the rights.
The Act's got a huge role to play in housing, and housing has a huge role to play in the enjoyment of other human rights.
A solid, justifiable decision-making tool for them so that they can sort of say, well, look, I absolutely considered every possibility for this family.
It could be more about raising the questions and being curious. It'll be really useful when we go outside of SHAC that we will have the right language so that it leads to something positive.
So when organisations are making strategic decisions, they often think of finances and they think of reputation and do we have the human resources to deliver this? But the human rights side of things is actually really important because it will underpin the whole strategy and whether it be effective and successful.
To reinforce that change around human rights, if we can see that someone is clearly not having their rights met, how do we advocate? How do we have a discussion about what you can do? If our staff are informed, then we can inform our clients.
It makes decision makers actually look at alternative ways of doing things that are going to be less impactful on the person. That's really where the Act does its heavy lifting, shifting the culture towards a human rights-based culture.
It's more to work with since this Act has come into our jurisdiction than before. It seems to make it more real in Queensland on a day-by-day basis.
A tool that takes into account at which point of the decision making we will be potentially enhancing or limiting somebody's human rights based on the decision that we're about to make.